This is one word, two syllables. Ridiculous, right?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Unfiltered Truth. I am your host, Phil Robinson. We have Phil Jones making a special appearance on his own damn show. Ladies and gentlemen, looking rather studious.
What can I say? It's been busy as shit for me. Some nights I haven't been getting any rest. But hey, it's training camp. I have to tell some peasants good morning, good evening.
Yes,
but
I saw
damn
you.
We back.
Cocktail there. Not only are we back, we have training camp. We got a full week, 2 days of pads. Got a lot going on, and man, Youngstown in the house. On to member 13 months. Thank you. We appreciate you, brother.
Oh man, absolutely appreciate
Most
you.
Definitely. Wow, that's something new. I don't think I've seen that before.
Hey, little YouTube trying like, hey, let them know. We got fam. I appreciate it. Carter, what's up, man?
Oh, many stories to start with today. Let's start with the most interesting news. Jimmy Garoppolo is on a pitch count. Now, what the
election was stolen? They can say that.
Sorry about that. Jimmy G, what?
I mean,
he on a pitch count?
He's on a pitch count. I don't know if that's plays. I don't know if that's throws. I don't know that's how many times Max Crosby gets in his face. We don't know what it is, but it is a program that has been put in place by the strength coach, the conditioning coach, basically those who are in charge of his rehab as a means to make sure that he's ready to go for the season and there are no setbacks. Is it ideal? No. Is it overcautious? Probably on the side of overcautious. But Jimmy's health is paramount to the success of this team, no matter how much Aiden O'Connell reminds Josh McDaniels of Tom Brady. He's not Tom Brady, and once he gets out there into the league and into the fire, he's going to have some rookie bumps and bruises, and it could not be good. So we want to continue to keep Jimmy upright, healthy, and ready to go.
Yeah, hey, it needs to happen. How them throws been looking? Because I mean, I saw a few of them. It looked crisp. I've been hearing that Hunter Renfrow and him been on a good connect. I mean, you're not gonna have no problem with throwing to Devontae Adams, but I know one thing: we've never seen like bombs from Jimmy Garoppolo, and I know a lot of folks have been saying, "Oh yeah, I don't think he can hit the bomb," or I'm like, "You never have." It's just never been him. He's always thrown the short and then intermediate. He probably say fuck it and chuck it 2 or 3 deep bombs, but I don't expect to look for that many this season like we saw the previous. But
interestingly enough, I've heard from multiple people actually that not to sleep. I'm not going to come out and say that he's launching Patrick Mahomes bombs or anything like that. That's not what I'm telling you at all. But I've heard that you shouldn't sleep on Jimmy's deep ball. And while he's not showcasing it or it's not always consistent now, recently you heard he got one picked off and he came up short, and then the very next play threw a 35-yard strike to Devontae. Typically in the NFL, your average quarterback arm strength is somewhere in between 40 to 55 yards. That's usually about the depth of that you need to have successful deep arm. As Jimmy may exist in the 35 to 45 range, pushing it at 50, but that's really all you need to be able to get it done. Rich Gannon didn't have the greatest deep arm in the world. He was 196 years old when he won the MVP, but he didn't. Whenever he had to get it deep, what happens is you throw the ball sooner. And Jimmy's, what I will say in noticing Jimmy and what I've seen in the little clips that I've seen so far is that he has a very fast delivery, a short front step and then the ball comes out quick. Now there's a tendency to throw sidearm that I'm not particularly comfortable with, but if it works for him, then it is what it is. But for the most part, as long as he's on time and accurate with the throws that he needs to make, he has the weaponry around him in order to do really good things this year. It's obviously training camp, and we got the roses and sunshine goggles on and just thinking of all the good that can happen. But Jimmy has won over the team. They rave about him. One of the things that they love about him so much is that he's just so approachable. One of the guys, mentally tough, all things that you want out of a leader. In practice, when you were hearing about the interceptions being thrown and the defense getting the better of him, I believe it was the first day of padded practice. Josh McDaniels said when he was mic'd up, said that in order to beat adversity, you need leadership and to take accountability. And they did that. And because they were able to do that, they were able to get somebody who would get to the huddle and tell them, you know what, forget about that last play. We're moving on to the next one. We're going to get them right here and then go out and do it. There's been a healthy amount of back and forth between the quarterback and Max Crosby. A lot was made about Max having to go run a lap because he was chirping at Jimmy, and that wasn't the truth. Vinny actually came out and confirmed that it was indeed because on that particular play, Max had jumped off sides to get an early jump and kind of bumped into the red jersey. Because remember, we don't make contact with the red jersey in training camp, and certainly not a man coming off an injury.
I'm gonna tell you this: that daggone offsides, we need to get that under control. I've been noticing that the last 3 seasons out of Max Crosby, you've been jumping off sides more and more.
Watch the ball.
I know you're anticipating trying to get across the line of scrimmage, but as Pops used to say it, hold your water.
You cannot get across the line of scrimmage any faster than the ball moves. The moment that ball wiggles an inch, you take off, but watch the ball.
That's all he's got to do. And it's been a handful of times where him getting that all-size penalty has hurt us during games, and he's got to be he's really got to use his brain out there on the field instead of getting shot in the foot on little things where I'm like, special teams, it's 4th and 3, and you jumping all sides.
So we could even take it a step further with watching the ball. In the offseason, a lot has been made about him training with MMA and going out and sparring with MMA fighters. And that's amazing. That's actually something that I said he should have been doing years ago in order to be able to get free of holds a lot better than more effectively than what he'd been previously doing. that learning how to break holds in MMA would help him tremendously on the football field.
Yeah.
What also will happen with training in that particular aspect is hand-eye coordination. More importantly, his ability, his twitch based off of his reactions to what he sees. At this point, if he's honing his body to be able to fight a grown man in front of him, a professional fighter, he should be able to watch a football and react the moment it even looks like it's moving far better than he would be able to if he was trying to anticipate it. And the significance of that is that a lot of times your offensive linemen are waiting to see what happens with you. Yes, they know the snap. Sometimes they forget it. Other times they can't hear it. But if your defensive end is always watching the football and moving as soon as the ball moves, he can catch a guy napping. More importantly, if you got a guy on his heels and you're getting the best of him, you can set him up with to start taking penalties with false starts because he's trying to catch up to you.
That's true.
Little things like that. Mac's game is at a point where suffice to say, yes, he's trying to do little things to get better. And he's trying to do little things because there's not many holes to his game. The offsides thing is probably one of the largest because it's easily rectifiable mental mistakes. Mr. CT wants to know what's the word on Smith. The word is that he came in for a visit. The Raiders are continuing to look at what they have in terms of players at the linebacking position. They've got some undrafted. They got a couple of undrafted guys that figure to be getting a healthy amount of minutes. They still have their draft pick, their 6th-round draft pick, Amari Burnett, that they want to take a look at. Divine Diablo has been awarded the green dot and is drawing high praise once again for his communication. As I've been saying on the shows that I've been doing without you, Jones, the little breakdowns of the press conference, communication is going to be a word that you hear a lot. They are putting a lot of emphasis on communicating, and that's really that's a lot of what they have in terms of mistakes being made is communications in the defensive backfield, in communication breakdowns between your linemen and linebackers. As long as everybody knows what their job is and they are effectively communicating on the field and off of it, nobody should be out of place and everybody should know what's going on. And knowing what's going on will translate to better defense being played. And they also have a lot better caliber of players on the back end than what we've previously been used to seeing. Marcus Peters, we know the deal with him. Fiery guy, dog, ball hawk, all the stuff you're looking for. Marcus Epps has absolutely been getting raved about from everyone, from what he's been doing all training camp long, the communication. Patrick Graham spoke about him when he took the podium last week. He's been out there just making plays, doing his thing, and being a leader. And you can't have enough leaders on defense. You can't have enough excellent communicators. Because with everything that's going on in the league, especially with the ring around the rosy bullshit that the Chiefs like to run and all that playground football shit, you're going to need a guy who's able to tell guys how to line up and where to go and what the responsibilities are to make sure that you don't have those issues like the Raw Room, like you heard old boy on the Raw Room, Darren Bates on the Raw Room talking about you just get out there and start chopping your feet like they hot because you don't know what you're supposed to do. What's up, Drake? For show. Chris Smith is in a fight for Moreg spot. Moreg is holding on to it pretty tough right now. But the other thing about that is that when you have to look at this secondary and change the way that you think about it, this is a multiple look, a multiple defense with matchup capabilities. You're going to see them in sub package. Very rarely will you see them in base. You're going to see a lot of 3 safety looks. That's just going to be what it is. And if they have to, if it becomes a position battle, then both players will be better for it. Who wins? I have no dog in that fight. I would love to see Morig play well. I thought that he would be able to do a little more than what he's done to this point. I would also like to see Chris Smith come out here and show us just a little bit of what they did out there in Georgia, or what he was able to do in Georgia as a 2-time national champion and an All-American, unanimous, I believe.
Yeah.
So what do y'all think about?
One thing I'm looking to see. I know it's been a rotating spot. You got Jermaine and Luminor playing the right tackle position, but are they going to be doing that rotation again like they did last season? Are they going to go through preseason and just say, let's go on and rotate to the spot again. Let's see if we want should I say not I'm about to say Leatherwood. Munford. If we're going to try to get Munford to play at the right tackle position a little bit, are they going to rotate through left and right on that again? That's something I would want to keep my eye on. I know Jermaine Illuminor has came out, spoke very vocal about saying, hey, I didn't drop weight. I'm trying to take this right tackle position. I'm going to hold it down no matter what. And if he holds it down, hey, damn, that's great. But I know there's other guys that are still battling and try to get that spot from him.
As they should, and they should continue to do so. But currently, he's in control of that spot. And what they have said, what Josh McDaniels has said now, for everybody who made such a huge deal about them switching linemen all the way into the season and blase, they did it for a reason. They did it so that everybody in the offensive line group would have the ability to work with each other, so that you could have a line where you move guys around interchangeably and, more importantly, seamlessly, and they would be able to not only play the position they were required to play, but be able to communicate effectively and execute the play as it was called. Now they have their 5. They're starting the same 5 guys they finished the season with. Everybody wants to talk down to Alex Bars. Alex Bars played well. Was he perfect? No. I believe he got hurt towards the end of the season as well.
Yeah, he got hurt. So the run blocking, and see, this is one thing I'll say, and I think I got it right here. 1 second. Make sure I pull this up correctly. Did I screenshot? I think I did screenshot.
Said, look, Mumford is going to be on this team. They want him to continue because he has to develop, and you can only develop one way in training camp, and that's to play. If you don't get these guys, if you don't get, well, that was in what is it? Having a brain fart right now. Gotta love that.
Hey, look, imagine you
unbalanced line. That's what it was. And power sets. Yes, he was a tight end. Did you ever see him go out for a pass? I didn't see him get any catches.
Hey, it's sooner or later it's time for the fat man to get a damn catch. But
I'm here for the fat man dance.
I mean, this O-line was ranked 15th in the NFL. Let's think about that. And then, like you said, Alex Bars and Dylan Parham, they were good within the run protection. It was just the pressure. They were allowing too much pressure coming in between the A and B gaps. I get it. With Parham, you're a rookie. You still working with the games. You're going to go through your bumps and bruises in your first year, but you learn from that. Alex Bars, he had been a guy that when he was in Chicago, he had his struggles, but then managed to bounce back. And he showed that he can be a guy that's consistent on this O-line. He just needs to stay healthy. I think he could hold the spot for the entire season. They really have to work on lowering the pressure with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. I'm telling you this. That was one of the things that was going on with the Niners, letting that man get blown up. We even looked at a couple game film, and he got fucked up.
Well, absolutely. And so where it comes to that, and in New England, let's just say with Tom Brady, most quarterbacks, period, where it affects them the most is pressure up the middle, and where communication is going to be key. And I said that this was key for a reason, because if you remember, where the majority of the issues that the offensive line ran into were stunts. Tackle and end stunts, where the end was coming around almost free and unblocked in between the center and the guards. A year under their belt, better communication will close that down and make life for Jimmy much more easy, so that he can do what he needs to do and the offense can do what it needs to do. They can also block better for Jacobs. Bringing back these 5 guys, I'm excited about it, and quite frankly, I can't wait to see how much they improved. I want to see Munford get out there. I want to see Parker get out there. I'd like to see what they have in Natane Moody and all the other guys that they have out there, because competition is only going to make this team better. Starting to return guys and full units intact is only going to make this team better.
No, I agree on that one. We don't have Josh Jacobs there at camp. They're rolling with
Zamir, Sincere, Britton, and some other Amir and Brandon.
Yeah.
That's a lot of ears.
No, I ain't looking hot for Brandon.
And they get and you know, I don't want to hate on Amir, I really don't, but I'm gonna need some more production than some special teams work from a guy.
Well, I'm gonna say it right here. I'll say it right here. You ain't gotta say shit. They brought him in to be a number 2 back, or a future back to come in and step up. He needs to do that. He needs to read. He needs to work on his vision. He needs to read what hole to hit. He shouldn't be hesitant. It shouldn't be second guess. You should know where to go. If you're not going to know where to go, your ass might be out the door.
Well, he's going to get every opportunity this preseason to show that he can read.
He better take advantage of it.
He's been running tough. That's from what I've heard these last couple of days. He's been running tough, but he's also been an easy target to hit.
Keep your head on a swivel.
Mm-hmm. But so to answer your question, Dre, I've been informed that his vision is getting better. It's not all the way where it needs to be, but he's making improvements, showing growth. Got the size, got the speed, all of that. And so we'll see what it is. What do we think of all these players we're bringing in, running backs, who's on the chopping block and other positions as well? Let me just say this. For the people who've said that the Raiders should trade for Jonathan Taylor, I just don't know what to say to you guys. The answer to your running back question is to reach in your pocket and take whatever's there and hand it to Josh Jacobs. That's the only answer that needs to be addressed.
Hold on.
That's the only one. If the answer to
hold on, we trying to trade for Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. I saw that and I was just like, bro, you can't be serious.
Yeah. You want me to give you the God honest truth?
Deep breath.
No. I already took my deep breath. Yeah, it's the God honest truth. He's a Wisconsin running back. What usually happens to those Wisconsin running backs?
4-5 years, and then them legs are shot from 350 carries a year for.
I'll show you. It goes. If you haven't deleted some of my shit on here,
I did.
oh, you motherfucker!
Went cleaning up.
Nobody told you to delete that shit.
Yeah, unfortunately, StreamYard was running out of memory.
StreamYard can kiss my ass. Oh, you asshole! You got rid of some of my good ones.
So that you can create more. It's time for you to go to work.
You ain't shit.
But,
But in other words, Jim Irsay with his running back situation, he thought he had something good, but this is how it's going to be.
No! Oh! This is not how this was supposed to go.
Them knees, them ankles are going to give out. Not wishing it, but I mean, you go back and look at a guy like who was it, Brandon Jacobs?
history has shown Ron Dane.
God dang. You get the picture.
Melvin Gordon, right?
Yeah. That's another one. That is another one.
Oh, we'll keep
So
it pushing down.
What the matter is, I'm getting that feel is this. Josh Jacobs, he got less on the body. He's gonna be all right.
Oh, and as we, I was going to say before we get too far with that thought, let me just jump in here with this as well, since you evoked the name of one Joshua Jacobs. As recently as yesterday, you saw a report from Josina that they were interested in having talks. I believe that talks have occurred, and so they are still working on his contract situation. A dear friend of the program, Mo Moten, Mostradamus himself, actually put out something that I hadn't considered, and that at this point, whatever deal that they asked for, that perhaps Jacobs asked for a no tag clause, so that in the event so that he can make his own decision in the event that they decide to pull the offer that they're undoubtedly going to continue to work through the year to put together, because he may not be able to sign a multi-year extension, but they can certainly agree to one and set it up for the beginning of the new league year next year. Said he now which this is interesting coming from you of all people, for all of the leverage talk that you've given me. Said he absolutely could be tagged twice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Instead of giving him all that money because the securities portion of what he was talking about ultimately is probably another year on his deal. We've seen how Ziegler does his deals in terms of team-friendly, structured, quick release deals that pay you a little bit and then let you out of the contract, or don't pay you at all while letting themselves out of the contract. I believe James Robinson, right? That's who signed with New York.
So James Robinson, yeah.
James Robinson signed with New York, and I believe Saquon had his deal in 24 hours.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. But I seen somebody had asked about Tyree Wilson and Byron Young, and one of the things that McDaniel spoke today this morning before practice was that the two of them are currently day to day. They've been in the film room learning what they're supposed to be learning in the classroom, getting the mental aspect and the mental reps down. There may have been some walkthrough participation that's been done by them, but ultimately they are getting closer and closer to getting on the field. Now, will they be on there tomorrow? Probably not. The Raiders are approaching injuries much more cautiously this year, at least this training camp, and really focusing on making sure that they've got their top 53 guys available fresh coming out of the gate in September.
No, that sounds about right. And again, preseason, you don't want to try to put a handful of these guys out there. You want to try to work with these young guys, work with some of these camp bodies and whatnot. But it's not smart to just be throwing out anybody. Like your quarterback, then got Jimmy G. You don't want him out there.
No, and especially when you see things like the calf injury to Joe Burrow, who may or may not be available for the start of the season because of that calf injury, and when he comes back, what's that going to look like? Is that going to be a lingering thing? Is that going to be just a strain that's gone in 2 to 3 weeks? We don't know.
No.
Absolutely not. Would you like Rob Leonard is going to get his chance to work with this defensive line and those two premium pieces. The top two of the top 3 draft picks in this year's draft went to the defensive line, and they have the physical traits to be some dogs. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to see those guys get their talent maximized on the field, because if we can get a rush to go with the secondary that we have and the improvements that we made in the secondary, it's going to be a huge bonus, especially if these guys can take some of the pressure off of Max and Chandler. Also have Jordan Wilkins. He's gotten lost in the shuffle a lot. Nobody ever brings up his name.
You know, another name we haven't brought up and haven't talked about in a minute.
What's that?
Are they going to get something out of Malcolm Kuntz?
I knew you were going there. They brought in his replacement. So this we're entering into make or break territory for that young man. They've drafted his replacement. They've signed his replacement. If he doesn't get it together, it's a very real possibility he may not make the cut. Jordan Wilkins. Jimmy makes quality art, customized art, Raider art, always posters, pictures, all types of stuff. If you are looking for quality artwork, go follow Jimmy La Jeunesse, Raider Duke on Twitter. Jacorian Bennett, why don't you? I'm going to turn the floor over to you and your years of Maryland football for you to explain just what exactly the coaching staff is finally is seeing out of Jacorian Bennett.
You know how everybody was jumping and wild and excited over Nate Hobbs? It's 10 times better. It's 10 times better. That man's coverage skills is next level. To be honest, everybody was freaking out about Brandon Faison. I'll be real here. There's nothing to even worry about. If he's going to start, that'd be great. You can go and leave Hobbs in the slot. That speed on the outside, we need it. You're already going to have Marcus Peters on the opposite end, and then you're going to have, you're going to leave Hobbs in the slot. Or it could go vice versa. Either way. Now, I would love to see Hunter Renfrow and Jacoby Bennett go at it. But so far, it's just been, what was it, Hobbs and Renfrow.
He got that work from DA-17. Don't kid yourself. I've seen a couple instances where he got indoctrinated into the NFL by Devontae. And that iron sharpens iron, and I'll say, and it's never a bad thing to have to go up against Devontae Adams in practice. Are you going to get shredded? Yes, but you're going to learn, and not only are you going to learn, you're going to get an opportunity to compete against somebody who you won't find many players that are better than.
That's true.
So yes, leave Hobbs and Hall in the slot. Peters, Amik, Duke, Long, Fact, Webb on the outside.
Yeah.
Some elite plays. And that's the way it should be.
I think you're going to see Bennett on the outside more.
Ideally, that's where you'd want him to be. I get why they want to move Hobbs outside because he's bigger.
Yeah.
And in a perfect world, that would be the spot for him. But in reality, he's one of the best damn slot corners I've seen in a while. And at the slot position, he's a physical mismatch. And when you want to attack an offense, you got to start lining up with mismatches. The slot is typically where they try to go to get a mismatch, but now you got a larger corner in the slot. You got a fast guy out wide, and then you got your ball hawk on the other side. You got a safety who just recently played in the Super Bowl and is lining up the defense, communicating, and all of that begins to come together and form a greater picture, a greater defense. Something that for everybody who said about what the Raiders don't have on defense, it will be something better than what you expect. $5.11. Said, yeah, and unanimous. But here's the thing about that three. That three is a legit NFL set of corners. If you put that on a sheet of paper against any receiving trio in the league, you like your chances. If you can get a pass rush, you got a good shot of them limiting a passing attack. How good will they be remains to be seen, but it's a fearsome threesome. Jalen Smith came in for a workout. So far up to this point, I haven't heard if he's been signed or not. Again, I think I said it earlier. They're going to continue to monitor what they've had. Luke Masterson has come out and played like he has a job to win because, quite frankly, he does. And you've got Bernay, who's been playing well, and people are saying that he's made some plays. Not today, Jimmy. We'll work you in, but And so we're making moves. We're seeing what we got. They brought in the guy from the Chiefs. I haven't had a chance to see if he got some burn and got a chance to get in there and make something happen for himself. But as training camp continues on, we will see. He had probably the most experience that was out of all of the guys who are on the roster at that position. So it's just one of those things that need to play out.
Yeah.
Still recovering. I believe he's with the other three now.
Yeah, Neil. Yeah, he's still
Farrell
recovering.
Jr.
I think he probably the last one coming back.
But so Tillery I've heard that Tillery's been turning heads as well and looking good up front. We are, like I said, a lot of the defensive front is young guys, a lot of them, and they need to pan out. And I know that's why Rob Leonard was brought in, and from what I was told, they did a good job of holding their own yesterday and today, meaning they won some reps, they lost some reps out in the team period 11 on 11. They didn't just get pushed straight down the field. And to me, that's probably one of the best signs that you could hope for, because you know that your offensive line was good last year. And a lot of people have a skewed version of what good is, but this offensive line that they had was pretty damn good last year, considering they were in the top 50% of the league and top 10 in pass protection. So if they're moving them, if they're making it happen on defense, if they're even going 50-50 with them, and what you're looking at is a much more improved defense.
Right.
Reading and recognizing, absolutely. So why not address linebackers in the draft? Listen, Pedro, bro, you preaching to the choir here. We'll say we could throw some music behind it and have you singing, and everybody would feel you. Said, and the cool Kev with the offensive line detraction. Can't trust Bars and Illuminor. Well, they're what got you to top 10 in pass protection and the number one rusher in the league. I mean, I don't know how much more they need to do to earn your trust, but it goes back to the communication aspect and picking up those stunts. That'd be about the only thing that I could think of, but to each their own. Matthew Butler on thin ice, cut candidate. Guys are going to have to play. Make no mistake. All the guys on this roster right now, all 90 guys, well, 90, 37 of them are going to lose their jobs. Straight up.
Yeah.
37 of those 90 guys are going to lose their jobs. So we want it to be that the 53 who remain are the best 53 guys that we had out of the 90. And Butler hasn't contributed. You don't hear I haven't heard his name mentioned. You didn't see much of him last year. You could only hope that he's developed. You could only hope that he's going to get an opportunity this preseason to turn heads.
Let me scroll up. I put it like this. I'll give you guys my preview of. Well, I wouldn't even say preview. I say my predicted 53-man roster. So I'll give you guys that. Probably, let's say, give or take by next week or probably this weekend.
Now I can answer that. Go ahead.
You know, just stir the pot a little bit. You know, folks are gonna be like, "Oh."
said I particularly like this question because I had to read it. I had to reread it to make sure I was looking at it right because it actually was a split breakdown. So I wasn't going to answer the defensive question, and by that, and I was going to hold off. But offense is a different story. I want to see Devontae Hunter, Jacoby Myers. I want to see who's better between whoever's better, more reliable between Trey Tucker, Philip Dorsett, or DeAndre Carter. Because personally, to me, they're three of the same guys with slight variations in physical ability. I want to see you're looking at probably battle between Jesper Horsted and Jacob Hollister, and you'll have Austin Hooper and Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer should be starting. From left to right, you'll have Colton Miller, Alex Bars, then Andre James, Dylan Parham, and Jermaine Illuminor. Jimmy under quarterback, Jacob Johnson, Josh Jacobs. Ideal starting offense. That was pretty easy.
That sounds about right.
So there's some whether they were 26 last year, so it's back 26 without half their starting defense. It wasn't great. They started off pretty good, only giving up about 23.5 points over the course of the first 5 games. And they can be definitely adequate. I believe in this offense. I also believe that this defense is putting pieces together. It's really going to come down to the play of the defensive line. They got a lot of guys to sift through. They got vets that I thought would be good, that I think are good for this team, can continue to contribute. But they got to get something out of these rookies that they've drafted. Period. Point blank. They just have to. And when they can get something out of the defensive line, other than some guys who can only hold up in the run but can't get any pressure in the passing game, then we're moving into legit and good conversation. So everybody wants an opinion up front. The beautiful thing about this is that just enjoy the process. Right now, you have guys that you think you know about. There's a bunch of guys on this roster that I don't know shit about. I'll be the first to tell you. I'm looking forward to see what they do and who's going to be the best. I like competition. Open competition is great. So defensively, you should have lots of competition. Your offense is pretty much set.
Yeah. It all comes down to the defense. It comes down to your linebackers, come down to your two interior D tackles, and really one of your safeties. That's pretty much it. The problem last year, we had injuries on the defense, and then we also weren't getting the natural push that we should have been getting or establishing consistency until the second half of the season?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm kind of worried that. Oh, you said Dalton Wagner. I was thinking about Dalton Reisner.
Dalton Wagner's got an uphill battle. He got the size, he got the frame. All that's the Trent Brown, if the non-Brown Trent Brown, if you will. But he's got an uphill battle. You got Thayer Munford, who got first team reps. You got Brandon Parker, who got paid to start, who's now sitting on the bench. You've got Colton Miller, he's not taking his job. And Jermaine Illuminor has been holding it down and showing that he's going to be that guy. So he may end up being a practice squad guy, depending on how well he plays. And so if you see him in in the first couple of preseason games, it's a good chance he might get stashed on the bench so that nobody can see what he's capable of. If you're seeing him in the last couple games, or the last, what is they got 4 this year or 3?
3.
3, yeah. So in the last couple of games, if you're seeing him, then his chances of him staying are not very high. When you look at how much they're paying all the other guys at that particular position, he did. Did you know anything about Dalton Reisner having a visit?
No. He don't got no visit. Nobody, I mean, to be honest, nobody hasn't even touched him. And I don't know why. I felt he did a good job for the Broncos the last 4 seasons, but I guess his asking price might be too high, or there might be a certain injury he needs to like recover from, or he needs to get surgery from.
Yeah, because he went and visited the Vikings 2 days ago, and they still haven't signed him. Yeah.
Damn.
But it is what it is. They got some guys that they want to see. So they're going to continue. It's early in camp. They're going to continue to look and see what they have, cycle through guys, and then make their determinations from there. So it's going to be a slow, like I said, enjoy the ride. You've waited all of this time. Let's watch this as it plays out, learn about the team so we can figure out what it is that what we have now and what we need moving forward. Because it's one way or another, we just got to sit back and watch it. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's the only thing you can really do.
Spillane and Masterson have sideline to sideline speed. Are they banking on Diablo? Right. Look, listen, Kev, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. At this point, when it comes to the linebackers, your guess is as good as mine, bro. I don't know what they're doing. I can only guess about what it is that they're doing because they got 3-4 undrafted free agents.
Don't be. I'll just go on and stick my neck out here on the line. Expect to see them most likely sign Jalen Smith
along with the Chiefs linebacker.
Yeah.
All right. Or will they keep him is a better question.
They'll probably keep him.
Yeah, that's interesting. No, that's what Trey Tucker's here for. Renfro shouldn't be returning anything except for them ugly shirts he'd be wearing back to the store he bought them from.
This guy.
Whichever one of them makes the team, most likely. Probably gonna be Tucker. Anything on old Curtis McClendon? None that I've heard of, Mr. CT. So that's where we are with that. Is there anything I forgot?
No, that's pretty much about it.
I think I hit it all too. We're like I said, we're gonna continue working. We're gonna be putting out multiple shows a week. At some point when the season starts, we're going to get back to having our weekly visit with Levi. And we're going to see what else I can come up with for you in between now and the start of the season. Anything you want to add before we dip up out of here?
No, I'll be getting back in my little mix. I'm off my little hiatus. I always try to tell folks anything that you're hearing currently right now with practice, it's just getting the feel through with certain bodies. You know, this is not a definite, oh, yeah, they're going to definitely go with him. Give it by next week, and then you're going to start seeing the shuffle, and then by the end of week 2, you'll start to really see that, oh, this is what's probably going to most likely end up happening. So,
and remember, practice is where you discover what you have. Nobody's in a rush to see what the starting lineup is right now because they want to see what these other guys look like. And if you know what you have, out of a guy, you don't need to see very much from him. And so you want to see what else that you have in terms of, can you do different things? Do you have different opportunities, a change of pace, a backup running back, backup receivers? Do you have a starting caliber defensive tackles, defensive linemen, linebackers? Can they do that? Let's throw some shit at the wall, see if it sticks. See if maybe, just maybe, they can pull some ring around the rosy bullshit of their own. You know, that's the type of stuff that goes on in training camp. What you really want is guys to come out of it healthy. You definitely don't want to see any non-contact injuries. And you'd like for the coaching staff to have a better idea of what they can and cannot do.
Yep.
But real quick, before we get out of here, I'd like to tell you guys, please like, subscribe. It's going to be a lot more content coming on now that the season is ramping up, starting. We're in the middle of it. We're in the middle of training camp. I cranked out 3 shows last week. We're going to keep it pushing and keep doing what we do and keep you guys informed. So thank you, all of you who've taken this opportunity to watch this show to this point. Tell a friend, let them know, become a member of the Unfiltered Truth, one of the unfiltered, or join members only, where we'll hit you off with some of that premium members only content, take you back to the original After Dark shows and whatnot. But I'm Phil Robinson. He's Phil Jones. And this is
and fantasy football is coming, motherfuckers.
I want your money.
This is 1 word, 2 syllables. Ridiculous, right?